All right. Well, thanks for taking the time, to answer a few quick questions. Thanks too for choosing Quasar. And just let us know, how was it? I've seen all your photos and your reels, and it looked like you guys had a good time.
There's still a lot more to post, but the photos don't even do it justice. It was honestly like the trip of our lifetime. Everything from start to finish.
From the moment we landed till the moment we left. I mean, and like you said, the pictures just don't do justice to describing how beautiful the place is, the service at the hotels themselves. I mean, literally from the moment we got there till the moment we left, we didn't want to leave.
Like, can we extend our trip? It was our ideal honeymoon from start to finish. Me and Richa, we're both avid hikers, and Patagonia is just out of this world as far as the terrain, and every day it's just so isolated, and it's everything about it.
That's fantastic. That was actually one of the questions we wanted to sort of like start with. It's it seems like, for you, it was the ideal honeymoon destination, right? I have nothing against being lazy in a beach and laying in the sun for 2 weeks, after you get married. But for me, that wasn't my idea either of a honeymoon. I spent mine just like walking all over Asia and hiking and things like so. Same as with you guys. So, what would you say is kind of like the ideal profile for somebody who wants to honeymoon in Patagonia?
Well, so we've actually told a lot of our friends already that it doesn't really matter, like, because even though we like to hike a lot, I still think that the way you guys have set it up is that whether you want to do really hard hikes or something just easy, just to be kind of out in nature, you guys can customize that trip so well. And there's so much to like you can do in Patagonia.
But also
that I feel like anyone could kind of make it like a great trip for themselves, because the luxury is there.
Oh yeah.
The food was amazing. Like if you're a foodie type of person, you just want us to hang out at the hotel and enjoy the beautiful views from there, you can do that. If you want to be out in nature, you have that option too. So Patagonia kind of offers something for everybody, I feel like.
Yeah, but for us specifically, the reason why we chose Patagonia is, we could have been lazy on a beach, but I feel like you get bored of that within like 2 or 3 days. Like you go to the Maldives, which is something we were discussing, and all the people that I know have been there, they're like, after 2 days, you're so over it. So we could have done that, but I think we would have, for us, we need to be moving constantly. So we chose Patagonia because we get the luxury in the hotels. Like we had the sick ride, thanks to you guys. That Jeep was awesome. But every day was something different, and that just kept it exciting. We've been together for 10 plus years, and having something new is very hard for us to find. And Patagonia was something new for both of us, and every day
we had jaw-dropping moments.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No, and Rich, I think exactly what you said before. And when I say before, I would say like in the 90s and before, Patagonia used to be a destination exclusively for people willing to rough it. You either had to camp or stay at one of the refuges, which were very basic back in the day. I believe Explorer was like the only high-end property, and there was nothing else. But today you have everything, from 1-star to 5-star accommodations, whatever you choose. And depending on your style of travel, it's no longer a destination, for very active people or very avid hikers. You can do a lot of sightseeing, you can do, navigations. The Jeeps are there too, you can basically go around the entire park just in Jeeps and admire, stop at the different overlooks. But that's a great thing, I think, today, is that Patagonia is now open for just about anyone. And we've seen a lot of that. Obviously, the crowd tends to be younger because of, how much hiking is happening there. But we see a lot of multi-generational travel too. We see grandparents, we see little kids.
That's what we were discussing right after we came back from our trip. We were like, our families would
absolutely
really enjoy this. They're not hikers, but there is so much that's a possibility for them. So I told my mom, my dad, my siblings that we should take like a family reunion over here, because it's not just for hikers, as you mentioned. There's so much that we could do. Just drive around, see the
The
sights, just
Jeeps,
be
the
like
boat
one in
tours,
nature.
all of that just made it so much more accessible for people that, just don't want to be on their feet
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
day.
And when you're in a bigger group, that's, I think the wonderful thing about the Jeeps is, let's say with the whole family is maybe 8 or 10 people, you'll have, 2-3 Jeeps. And that means during the day, you guys can actually split up. You guys do base of the towers, maybe your parents do the navigation in Gray Lake, and everybody then just meets up back at the hotel, for lunch or for dinner in the evening, and you just,
Freaking amazing
everybody sort of
cocktails.
gets to, yeah. And so everybody gets to enjoy like their Patagonia, and that's a wonderful thing. Not many destinations are that attractive for multi-generational travel, but Patagonia certainly is one of them.
We were actually surprised by how much it had to offer, because again, our idea was kind of maybe which is going to be a bunch of just young hikers that want to be outside, but it was so nice to see that it offered so much and so many different variations.
And was there any reason for you guys, like why specifically Patagonia? Did you see a documentary? Did you, was it all over your Instagram or?
No, it was, I think honestly,
Instagram had a little bit to do with it.
yeah, but I just don't, I haven't seen so many people go to Patagonia just yet, and we wanted to do something different and something that hasn't been like that's just full of tourists.
For me, it was, I think I was looking at places just randomly because we were talking about it casually for a honeymoon. And somehow, who knows, I must have been looking at hiking videos. I don't know what happened. And I got into Patagonia and I was like, Vishal, I think I have found like the place that we need to go to. And a couple of our other friends had mentioned, they're like, you guys would seem like Patagonia would be a cool place for a honeymoon. Maybe Instagram heard me. It started showing me.
And we popped up, right?
It knew. I'm glad, whatever it did, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah. And I remember that, the girl who monitors our social media channel, she's like, we just got a message from you. You messaged us, right, Richa? And yeah, and then, I spoke with Elizabeth. She's obviously a big fan of yours. Your show, unfortunately, does not make it down to South America. But she was a big fan and said, we need to do this, and it happened. So
best choice ever that we made.
Fantastic. And so Risha, how did you actually learn about Quasar? Did you do some research first, or did we just?
I did. So I'm a big researcher when it comes to like planning any of our trips.
She has that training background.
Yeah, so the research just spews out of me. I think when I started looking at Patagonia, then I started looking to see which companies were, like travel agencies were big in that area. And then your guys' name came up multiple times. And then I did some digging and research on the company itself, reviews.
And then she was showing me all these videos. She's like, look at this, look at that.
Then I went through everything on y'all's Instagram. And then once I said that this was the company that like I wanted to work with, this is who I wanted to go with. Then I was like, Vishal, like, look at this. This is the route we need to go. I did all my research before I even approached him. I knew what I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
Y'all's Instagram and the pictures and the videos is what caught both of us, I guess.
Well, that's excellent. That's music to my ears as a marketer. That we actually reach the right people, through our channel.
Well, also the reviews from all your very happy clients also helped a lot too.
Yes. We take a lot of pride, and we also a lot of effort too, reaching out and reminding people to review us, but most of them are just super happy to do that right away. And so, yeah, I'm happy you got to read, some of the comments from our past clients, but in general, the destination that Quasar, goes to, like Galapagos or like Patagonia, they need very little selling. They never disappoint, but I guess it's a matter of how you put things together, the little details, things like maybe the Jeeps or the selection of properties.
And also what I really loved was how flexible it was. When we were there, weather changes all the time, but in Patagonia, you basically can go with the flow, and there's something, if something doesn't happen the right way that you planned it, there's so many other options that we were able to do. And I think it worked out so perfectly for us. There was one day that we were supposed to go on a boat to what was it called? La Peninsula.
Yeah.
Oh, La Peninsula, yes.
Yeah. So we were supposed to go there, but the wind was strong, and we ended up doing what was it, the full day hike?
Yeah, the full day
across-
hike. Yeah, the active day hike.
Yeah, the active day hike. And what happened during the active day hike, if we were on the boat that day, we wouldn't have stumbled upon, we saw a puma in the park. It was so wild. It was just like, this was meant to be. And I don't know, I feel like the energy in Patagonia is just so surreal. Like, I've not experienced anything like Patagonia and we hike all over the world. We've done so many national parks. We've done like Machu Picchu, Inca Trail, and Patagonia is just on the top.
That's amazing. And it's very true what you're saying, Vishal, that first of all, there's so much to do around the national park that if you come like with the right mindset and you're flexible, you can have, and you probably experience it, sunshine, wind, rain, and snow in one day in Patagonia, right? So you have to be ready for everything and to change things around. And that is one of the good things about, having your own Jeep. And in your case, you guys had a guide that you could actually change things around based on weather and on, how you're feeling that day, whether you were tired. Sometimes when you stay at a hotel and you booked, their excursions and everything, if you only have one day left and you want to do the base of the towers, that's the day you have to do it, right? Because you gotta go and things aren't changed up and you book that excursion, and sometimes, you'll make it up to the base of the towers and you never got to see the towers.
Hold on one second. Our dog is about to.
All good. But yes, weather in Patagonia it's one of the attractions too, right?
Hold on, let me put her outside because the cleaning lady just came and now she's gonna
It's
bark.
all right.
Put her outside.
Okay. Actually, I'll be right here with us.
You think that will keep her quiet?
She'll be loud inside. This is our Amy.
Oh, so cute. I have one too. The smaller they are, the louder they are.
Yeah.
Right?
The more aggressive they think they can be.
So, all right, moving on to, let's see, what'd you think about this experience and will you recommend it to others? I think you've already said that you've recommended it to a bunch
We've
of
been
people.
recommending this trip to everyone that everyone keeps asking us about our honeymoon, and because they've seen all the pictures and videos and they're like, the first thing I say is you have to go. Doesn't matter whether you like to hike or not, you just have to go to Patagonia. It needs to be on everyone's bucket list now.
That's amazing. And was there anything you sort of touched on this before, but would you say that there's something, how different was Patagonia like from other places you visited? You talked a little bit about the landscape and the scenery, but was there anything in particular?
So I think the biggest difference, at least for me, I haven't been to any place where you can actually be disconnected from the world and just with nature. So obviously at the hotels, you have connection to Wi-Fi and you have cell service, but when you're out and about in town, there's not really a lot of service, which is really nice. Like, it's hard to, in this day and age, to not have any connection to work.
To be present,
And to be present in the moment. And you actually got to be present. And when we would go back to the hotel, even though you had access to everything again, you were so happy from the day, and the hotel itself was so beautiful, and the food and the atmosphere when you're back is also so beautiful. You don't care to be on your phone. And in our world and our careers, we live on it, right? So it was very nice to have a place where you can go and you actually are disconnected and want to be disconnected as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because we go as far, like in the Galapagos, you're obviously, on the boat, and the boat does have Wi-Fi. We actually restrict the hours when it's available.
Oh,
yeah.
To
Wow.
force this disconnection that you're talking about. That at the beginning, it's like there's people are on edge, right? Where's my phone? I need to be connected.
It's like you're going through withdrawal, right? It's
Yeah,
just,
exactly. For the first couple of days, and then you realize, you don't depend on this little device. It's okay to be disconnected. If there's an emergency, they will reach out to you, whoever.
we absolutely loved that aspect about it.
Yeah.
Just how there's no cell service in the parks or wherever we drove to. It was just,
Yeah.
I think we adapted to the no phones very quickly. I think the first day or two, we were both kind of like, we need to be on our phone. And then the moment
I'm the one that has that problem. I'm always looking at my phone, but after one day, like we get into a lot of fights about this actually, because I'm always on my phone and she's like be present, but it forced you. One day it did us.
we were so happy that like it was just nice to be complete. I think we talked to our parents maybe once a day just to be like, yeah, we're alive, we're having a great time. And that was about the
That's
most
it.
connection we had with the outside world. So it was a great, for
excellent.
honeymoon wise, we actually got to be present with one another.
Yes.
And
that carried on actually afterwards, because it broke that habit that hold that I had on my phone, that where I'm always checking social media every few minutes. After the honeymoon trip, it was like the habit was broken. I'm not so dependent on this little device. I can be more aware, more present in my day-to-day life now too as well. But that's something that carried on from the trip.
That's amazing. That's kind of like the sort of transformations we're after, not necessarily just, the more obvious stuff, with being the destination and the wildlife and lands, but this kind of stuff that sort of like gets you to change from your daily routines. That's amazing. And guys, maybe this question differs a little bit, but what was the favorite part of the trip for you guys? It could be like a hotel, an excursion. Was it the same for you both, or was it different?
For me, there was one excursion there was many things.
Oh yeah, that excursion. I know which one you're talking about.
The glacier excursion that we did, was it Lasur Glacier?
Oh, Glacier Sur.
Yeah. So that day when we went, it was just me and Vishal on the tour. So when we got to the park, the park looks like Jurassic Park, like out of the movie. You're in the middle of nowhere. It was ridiculous. And you took 2 boats to get there, across the hike to get there. And it was just me and him there, and our guide. And we were like, where are we? This is the most crazy, ridiculous, beautiful place we've ever seen.
And I've never seen anything about it or seen it online or anything.
Yeah.
We took 2 boat rides across 2 lakes. We did a full hike.
We did a 40-minute hike in between the 2 boat rides.
Yeah, between the 2 boat rides, 40-minute hike, which was like that hike in itself was just crazy as well. We saw how many different terrains during that hike.
So yeah, when you got to the main part, we saw it was like dry greenland, then like desertish type of sand where a lake used to be.
Yeah, dried up lake.
And then and then like 3 glaciers, I guess, surrounding each other. And we were like, where are we? What is this?
Like every 20 minutes, we were in a completely different new land. I've never seen anything like that. So yeah,
we ate berries off the trail. We drank water from the waterfall. We're living off the land. This is the best. We can just move here.
It was like 5 different hikes in one.
We saw 3 condors flying like right above us. And our guide was like, this isn't normal. They're never this low. Like it was just like the perfect day. And the entire day, the rain kept avoiding us. Like we could see it, but it would never be where we were.
And
perfect day.
And at the end of the hike, as Richa mentioned, the 3 glaciers in that we're right next to them, and we're the only ones there from this angle. No one in that hike. It was just
that's amazing.
It was tiring, but we didn't feel tired because we were literally just, our jaws were like on the floor the entire time of like how beautiful it was and what we were doing.
That excursion is amazing. And I don't know if in the map, exactly where you were when you were surrounded by the 3 glaciers, but behind the Torres del Paine Massif, you have the Dixon Glacier, which you normally don't see unless you do like the O Trek. But the Dixon Glacier is in Chile. You guys were right there, but you were in another country. You were in Argentina.
He literally
And
was
so-
like, our tour guy was like, you can like Argentina's like right there.
No,
Yeah.
Chile was right there.
You could literally, exactly, you were literally in the border between the two countries, which are separated by these tall peaks that you were walking by, you know, in that hike. Yeah, so that hike is fantastic. And the good thing about that excursion is normally, even though when it's a full excursion, you would only be there with around 6 people, 6 to 8 people at the most. So you guys got lucky that with the fact that you were the only ones, but it's definitely yeah, one of our top excursions, at least on the Argentine side.
By far one of the best. And then obviously spotting the puma was pretty cool.
Yeah, the full day hike that we did in the park as well. That was amazing as well on the Chile side.
Yeah.
The park at Torres.
Yeah. That's an emblematic, that's an iconic hike. Everybody, it's kind of the ones you have to
Anywhere,
check.
like no matter what spot you are, it's just like picturesque.
Yeah. I learned the other day that there used to be, the return from that used to be like half of it via zip lining. Like you could go down, but a helicopter in a rescue operation didn't see one of the cables, and luckily there wasn't no accident, but you used to be able to zip line from the Chileno refuge all the way down to the bay to Las Torres hotel.
Really?
Wow, that's cool.
I'm
So many things you can
hoping
do over there.
they bring it back one day. All right, let me see, moving on. So would you have like any tips for travelers who would be interested in going to Patagonia in their honeymoon? If there was like, you know, 2-3 tips you could give somebody, what would they be?
Well, contact you guys first.
Thank you.
That's the number one thing to do.
No, because you guys, honestly, like we were talking this the day as well. If we plan this on our own, we don't have that expertise or knowledge, and we're just going based on what the masses said. You guys know like the ins and outs of every part of Patagonia, and it was and based on what we told you guys, you really customized it to where it really fit our personalities. So,
And you made my life easier, not having to research like everything, which is kind of like, how do you want it? Like, what do you need? And you guys put that together for us. So for me, and for being a honeymoon as well, so it's not as stressful.
yeah.
For us, I think you guys took that entire stress and burden off of us as a couple.
So
which
we
is nice.
didn't fight during our honeymoon.
Woo!
Good.
because of that. But yeah, that's honestly like the biggest tip was having a good planner. And then what's your second tip for Patagonia?
Be flexible and
Oh, yeah.
be prepared for weather. I mean, I think
Bring layers, lots of
Yeah.
layers.
lots of layers, and just be flexible. And I think if you're flexible, honestly, like you'll enjoy Patagonia so much more. You can't control the weather. You know, there's only so much you can do, but the universe, I feel like, works in your favor over there if you're just, you know, kind of go with the flow.
And there's so many options. So there's no one like right way to do it over there.
Yeah.
And what's your third tip?
Oh, gosh. Definitely do it via Jeep with you guys, because I think that was by far like one of the most, like, having the Jeep was so much fun. Since a lot of the roads are still kind of dirt roads over there, having the Jeep just made it a lot more exciting. Just driving around was fun. Like we like just, you know, taking the car after like dinner or something like that, or before dinner, just driving around in the Jeep to see the town.
Oh, and get a lot of massages at the spas.
Massages. Yeah. Those ladies are good.
After like hiking and full days, it's nice to end your day with a massage.
Yes, especially because, you know, it is, especially for, you know, a young couple like you guys, the next day is going to be active too. So staying at these properties that offer, you know, a jacuzzi and a massage definitely makes a difference too.
The hotels that we stayed at were like, we're going, I don't know how those hotels even exist in these remote areas. So we were hiking full days in Patagonia, coming back to these awesome hotels. In Chile, we did the singular food, drink, the rooms, the view, like this glass, like every room had a floor to ceiling window. And the views were just out of this world. And then the chateau that we stayed in.
Iolo, oh my God,
Iolo.
the packed lunches that they would send us with for the day, I've never seen packed lunches like that. We
Yeah.
literally ate everything and they were delicious.
That was the best food.
Oh yeah, Iolo, hands down. You got food is amazing.
Yeah.
Was Valentine there?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
head
He
hotelier?
greeted us when we got there. Such a sweet guy. So nice.
He's
And the staff
very
there,
nice guy.
amazing.
I still have to post that. I have a lot to post about ELO. They're great.
Yeah, Eolo is a fantastic property in the middle of nowhere too, with amazing views. On a clear day, you can actually see the towers from
So the
Eolo.
last day when we were leaving, we had
It
a
was so
clear
clear.
shot of the
Oh,
towers.
amazing. That's amazing. And you're again across the border. But that just show you how close these national parks are from one another. The thing is, you have to drive all the way around. But if by horse, you could cross it in less than a day, from Chile to Argentina.
Yeah.
There are actually horseback rides that do that. So you guys actually answered the next question, which was, what would you say are the advantages of taking the Jeep? So thank you. We're glad you saw the flexibility that the Jeep provides.
Yeah, one day we had like some extra time at nighttime, and where did we go? What was that lake?
Oh, there was some lake that was maybe like 20 minutes from the Singular. So we decided to go there. We get there and there's this giant rainbow across the lake. There's no one at the lake, maybe like 2 or 3 other people there.
3 people there.
Someone was doing yoga, someone was just taking a walk, and we just had like the lake to ourselves, stunning lake. Again, we saw another condor again, and like a giant rainbow across the lake. And like the ability of having that Jeep around, like I said, we had a little bit extra time. We're not tied to anything, so we're like, let's just hop in the car and let's go explore what's kind of nearby. And it was great. We went to the caves too.
Yeah.
That were nearby. So just having the Jeep was just to be able to, a little bit of time. We're not tired right now.
Like we'll have the late dinner instead of the early dinner, and we just took the Jeep and drove and saw sights we
weren't planning on seeing, but they were just beautiful anyway.
That's amazing. Yeah, photographers especially, because they need to be out super early and super late for that wonderful warm light. That's the flexibility that the Jeep provides also, because normally you saw the other people that were staying in the hotel with you when the vans brought them back, they were on foot after that. Great.
Yeah.
That's great that you guys got to experience that advantage. Not all our guests, take the Jeep after dinner. I'm glad you guys did. You also went at a time of year when there's plenty of light out too.
Oh
Right?
yeah, that was the craziest thing, that to have like light from like 4:30 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night. When we came back, we were like, where's the long days? The days are just so short over here.
I know. The sun's setting at 6 p.m. over here.
I know, we're like, why is it so early? What's going on? We want to go back.
and having that much daylight over there, we were able to do so much more. Like we're not tired. We sleep with the sun. So
Yes.
4 hours of sleep, and we felt wide awake over there.
That's amazing. That at least, the time of year you guys went, like during the summer, the days are super, super long. Some of our programs, like the Puma tracking programs, they leave the hotel before sunrise and they come back after sunset.
Wow.
So these guys during the summer, you normally go back to the hotel to sleep at noon, because you literally got, just 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and then tracking pumas again and again. So that's why we normally, prefer to do the Puma trekking in the winter. But you guys got to see a puma in the middle of the day without needing to wake up, at 4 a.m.
Yeah, even our tour guide was like, this isn't normal that they would be. They're like, there's no way we're going to see one in the middle of the day right now. And even if they're out, it's impossible because they just blend in with the terrain. Sure enough, somehow.
They're saying the Wanakus would the best way to spot them is hear the Wanaku's stress call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, after you said that, Rich was like, I think I just heard that.
I was like, does it sound like this weird noise? And they're like, yes. And I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a Wanaku in distress.
So she tracked one.
That's amazing. Yeah, pumas are nocturnal animals. They're normally just active, as we said, sunrise and sunset. And during the day, they're either sleeping or they're hard to spot because they're laying down or being super slow and lazy. They're not normally. And do you remember in what part of the park you saw it?
It was
Around what
actually
area?
at the end, when we were almost walking.
It was the flat part of the valley.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't remember the name, which hike it was. It was the first hike of the day. I remember that. But it was like the flat terrain, and they're like, "There's no way we're gonna see one now." And then
no, it's a spot. Like there's a fence all along the line.
Oh,
And
right. And then
there was
coming up
Wanako.
through, yes, through the eastern side of the park.
And the pumas apparently use that fence to hunt wanakus.
Yes.
And some don't jump over.
we
Yeah,
actually saw Wanaku jump right in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, like he came up here and
They
then
jumped right over the fence.
we were like, "Please make it, because otherwise we're gonna have to somehow get you off the fence."
So you guys saw guanacos, you saw condors, you saw pumas,
Yeah.
probably saw a lot of the caracaras. Do you remember that bird? They're what's the other name? There's another name. I'm sure your guy pointed it out. Did you guys get to see any eagles?
We didn't see eagles. We saw a bunch of foxes.
A lot of foxes.
Oh, the
Lots of
gray fox. Do you remember, or the
Yeah, we
Coquel
saw-
fox,
we
the
saw a
red?
bunch-
gray and red.
Oh, you saw it. That's great.
Uh,
I think I've only seen the red Coquel fox like once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got really lucky on seeing the
Yeah.
animals somehow. I feel like I summoned
Oh,
them.
and we saw what are they called? The cowboys over there.
Oh, the gauchos.
The gauchos, and they're herding thousands and thousands of sheep.
Yeah, we saw two days. We saw two different sets of gauchos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only traffic you'll run into in Patagonia is
Yeah.
when the sheep are in the middle of the road, and it can be a long time before they actually get to where they need to go.
We had so many like cool like different experiences. We got to see so many animals the entire time too. It was really nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, and my final question to you guys is, what's next? What's next on your travel bucket list, if you can share?
I don't know yet. We haven't thought about it. We did. Should we talk about Galapagos next?
That's what I was gonna say.
Hint, hint.
What's funny is when we came back from the trip, one, we told our entire family that we should all go back as a family trip. And then you're like, you know what? Let's just actually go to Galapagos and get with you guys. Make our lives, one, it's easy.
yeah.
We don't have to plan anything. You guys have it down packed.
And my dad wants to go there too.
I've actually always wanted to go to the Galapagos. That was always on my to-do list. I actually looked that up for a honeymoon. But then I saw Patagonia and my heart fell in love with Patagonia.
Well, this February we have a lot of traveling. We have LA, New York, Vegas.
Nothing
That's
crazy
in February.
planned on the books
No.
just yet, but
Well, we'd be happy to have you if Galapagos
When's like the
is the
best time of
choice.
year when's the best time of year for Galapagos?
The great thing, as opposed to Patagonia, where the seasons change, Galapagos, because it's right on the equator, weather is almost
Pretty consistent.
the same, pretty consistent throughout the year. So it mainly depends on what you want to see and do. The best season for snorkeling, for example, that to me, that's probably the highlight of Galapagos, is between, I would say, June and November. That's that's like the best snorkeling. That's the best time to see whales, orcas,
oh wow.
dolphins.
We already have his family in LA that were like, they fell in love with our trip
yeah.
from Patagonia. And they're like, whatever trip you
do
guys
next,
plan next,
We're all
Take
we're
us.
going to tell us what it is. Here's our credit card, we're done.
Oh
So
yeah, they told me like wherever you book next, my whole family. And I have a big family, like 40 people in my family, and they all want to just join along. They're like, just take my credit card and pay for it.
family reunion with you guys.
That would be amazing. The evolution is for 32 guests. It won't fit the 40 family members.
We'll have to
but
cut some of the
almost.
family members out.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
But yeah, we'd be happy to have you again. The experience in Galapagos, as with Patagonia, remote destinations, wildlife, a lot of activity, great food, great guides, great staff attention to detail. So
I have 32 family members on the boat and do a family reunion there.
Have y'all done a family reunion like that
Yes.
for like an entire boat? Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, the
That sounds
evolution,
like a lot of
especially
fun, I'm not gonna
for
lie.
Yeah, the grace is for 16 guests, so smaller families, they normally
Yeah.
do a reunion and take the whole boat. But the Evolution, I would say about 3 times a year is chartered by an extended family, and it's everybody's on the boat. So like 32 people, most of them haven't seen each other in years, so it's like just a blast to have
That's like
everybody
a
together.
of a lifetime, right? To get everybody together to go somewhere like Galapagos.
Yeah.
Well, we already know we've got a couple, his entire like immediate family, they're ready to go.
The ones from Hong Kong
Interesting.
already, yeah.
June
Amazing.
to November, we're gonna have to start talking.
Amazing, guys. That was it. That's all my questions. I don't know if you guys have any additional questions, or you, Elizabeth, but
No, just wanted to say thank you again. It was really well planned, exceeded all our expectations, and
I don't think we could have had a better honeymoon than that. And you guys honestly made it very easy and seamless.
we didn't
stress
and
me.
we didn't fight at all because of that.
I know, and everyone knows we love to fight.
well, that's fantastic. Well, thanks again, guys, for choosing Quasar. We're really happy you guys had a great time in Patagonia and get to enjoy, properties, the destination, the scenery. Let us know, if Galapagos is in the plans anytime in the future. And thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Fernando.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you both.
Elizabeth.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
guys.
much.
Thank you. Yes,
We'll
of
track
course.
this.
I'll send you an email shortly.
Yeah, sounds good. Talk to you.
All right.
Thank you guys. Nice
Take
meeting you
care,
face to
guys.
face
Yeah.
finally.
Yes, yes.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.